Guys, I just rode Jurassic World VelociCoaster twice, and wow, that ride is really something special. Look, I'm not going to waste any more time, let's dive straight into the review. Let's start off with the queue line. Upon entering underneath the very intimidating Jurassic World VelociCoaster sign, you'll enter the first set of switchbacks. The main takeaway here is that nice queue line music to set the tone. It's very intense and definitely sets you up for your Raptor run. There's really nothing else there except an extremely nice looking lighting package. Going deeper into the queue, you'll come across a VelociCoaster statue of sorts that includes numerous Velociraptors along with a sculpted top hat element, which mirrors the one that could be seen just outside the ride's entrance on the left. Moving on through the queue, you'll enter another room where a really cool world's first of its kind effect is shown. The coaster's second launch tunnel appears right outside these windows, and as the train passes by at 70 miles per hour, some screens showcase the Raptors chasing the ride vehicle up the top hat. Next up, you'll enter two more rooms, one with a small set of switchbacks and some instructional videos playing on the walls educating you about the Raptors and how InGen takes care of them. Then you'll enter the Raptor training area, where you'll encounter live Velociraptors. These animatronics are extremely well made and their movements are pristine. Easily the best queue line animatronics I've ever seen. Finally, you'll enter the locker area. Now, for other Universal thrill rides like the Incredible Hulk Coaster and Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, there are metal detectors before you enter the attraction. For VelociCoaster, the designers of the ride are pretty nice people, so they put the metal detectors and lockers inside the ride's queue line. This way you can take all your personal belongings into the queue, whether that be your phone, camera gear, or anything else you might want to bring with you inside the queue. After you put your items inside the locker, you'll make your way up a set of stairs into one last room full of switchbacks. This room has a large screen informing the riders of the storyline for the attraction. Now, here's one of my major nitpicks about this ride. The storyline is kind of confusing. However, from what I can gather, VelociCoaster is themed as a roller coaster inside of Jurassic World's Raptor paddock area. Obviously, in a packed full queue line, not in COVID times, you'll be able to take in the storyline much more clearly through all the video screens playing and the additional theming. But now let's move on to the ride itself. Upon sitting down in the ride vehicle, you may notice that this ride has lap bars, not the over-the-shoulder restraints like the Incredible Hulk Coaster. So you feel very open and free as you glide along the track. Anywho, once you dispatch out of the station, you'll make a left-hand turn into the first and only show scene. Basically, Owen Grady, played by Chris Pratt, warns the riders to hold on to their butts. The vehicle moves backwards a few feet in preparation for the first launch. Then out of nowhere, the train accelerates to 50 miles per hour in only 2 seconds. That's pretty forceful for an initial launch. The launch feels very controlled. What I mean by that is when you launch, there is an initial kick, and then that same amount of force just stays there throughout the entire straight track. It's different from most launches because on others you constantly pick up speed as you move down the track. On VelociCoaster's first launch, it feels very steady and controlled. Also, before you even crest the next element, your lap bar will slam down on you just from the sheer amount of force this launch provides. It's no joke. Next up, you'll enter the Immelman, which feels pretty similar in terms of its forces of the RMC Raptor dive loops, especially in the back row. You get absolutely whipped through that element. Then you'll enter VelociCoaster's dive loop, which surprisingly wasn't as crazy as the Immelman. I should mention, however, that at the bottom of the dive loop, the on-ride photo is taken. It definitely is a weird spot for an on-ride photo, especially for this ride, but I guess it works. Anyway, then you'll enter the first twisted airtime hill, and wow, why is no one talking about this? You get RMC level ejector right here, whether you're in the front or the back. This is easily my favorite part of the first half of the ride. Once through that hill, the first half kind of calms down in terms of its layout. However, there are some really cool Raptor statues and a lot of near misses before entering the second launch tunnel. And guys, this launch is insane. You're already going 40 miles per hour before hitting the LSMs, and they boost you up to 70 miles per hour in only 2.4 seconds. Once you hit your top speed, you'll crest the top hat. Oh yes, the top hat. This element provides significantly different experiences based on the row you sit in. In the front, you don't really get airtime, it's more hang time, because you literally just hang off the side of the drop. However, in the back, I'd honestly say that this feels comparable to Mako's 5-second floater hill. Mako's is better because the restraints are open, but this is the closest we're ever going to get to another element like that, at least in Florida. The drop off the top hat is pretty tall, 155 feet to be exact. Once you hit the bottom, you'll enter the 100-foot long zero-G stall, which literally hangs the train upside down for around 2 seconds. It's a really weird sensation and definitely not what I was expecting, but still it was a pretty solid part of the ride. Then you enter the oscillating helix, basically a fancy term for a helix with some airtime added in here and there. First, there's a wave turn, comparable to Twisted Cyclones at Six Flags Over Georgia. Twisted Cyclones is a bit better, but VelociCoaster still throws you out of your seat. Then you'll enter the Outer Banked Airtime Hill, which takes the track from one side to the next and back again, all while delivering some quality airtime. This was the one element where I noticed that if you sit in the front of the train, it felt stronger. After that, you'll enter an overbanked turn, which was pretty solid, and then a speed hill, which again was pretty solid. But here comes the main event of the ride, the Heartline Roll. A Heartline Roll is like a barrel roll, but the track is configured in a way where theoretically your heart stays in one position while you go through the element. Keep in mind this Heartline Roll is like 10 feet above the Islands of Adventure Lagoon. If you get scared easily about falling out of roller coasters, you might want to hang on here. However, if you're like me and absolutely love the thrill, I'd highly recommend putting your hands up before entering the element. Then, as you go through the roll, your body just rotates in such a weird way with your arms flailing all over the place. It's amazing. I will proudly say that VelociCoaster's Heartline Roll is my favorite element on any coaster I've ever ridden. There's really no comparison that can be made here. After you exit the Heartline Roll, you'll pop into the second Twisted Airtime Hill, which isn't as good as the first, but still provides a nice pop of ejector airtime, and then you hit the brakes. Now, for those wondering where VelociCoaster ranks in terms of all the roller coasters on the planet, honestly, it's not the best layout in the world. I will say that right now. The layout is so strong though, but there are better ones out there. However, I rank coasters and theme park rides in general based on my experience as a whole, not just the layout of the ride. So in that case, VelociCoaster is easily the best coaster experience I've ever been on. I've only ever come off one other ride in my life where a smile was instilled on my face until today. Along with Star Wars Rise of the Resistance at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Jurassic World VelociCoaster is tied for my favorite theme park ride ever. So it's obviously a 10 out of 10 attraction for me, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to leave the video a like, it really helps the channel out a lot more than you think. I know this video was very different than my typical style of content, but don't worry, the Universal Orlando 2.0 series is still on track, with episode 3 dropping as fast as I can edit. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys out on the horizon. The theme park horizons.